My family didn't know because I had never dated a woman seriously. There was just something in me that I was like, I need to tell the world because I want to marry you right now. I'm not going to be here living a lie anymore. Like, I don't care. I'm Milena Sanchez. I'm a singer-songwriter, podcaster, author, mother, queer. I'm a badass bitch. Can I swear? At 22, I fell pregnant. It was like, do I choose my career or do I choose motherhood? I didn't want to end up just being the girl that almost made it, but then she had a baby. We had just got our foot in the door and we were going somewhere. I was like, right, this is me on my road to fame and riches. And then he left.
In my community, they say like, if you want to keep a man, have a child. And I'm like, what?
When you have issues that you're trying to disguise within a relationship, have a kid and it will come to the forefront of everything. The birthing plan is to be open-minded. That child, however it needs to get into the world, is going to enter. There are just so many things that I feel like we go through as women and as mums that it doesn't start when the baby gets here. It starts the moment you find out that you're pregnant. I'm going to write a book called How to Figure It the Fuck Out.
Welcome to Do Not Disturb, the inside story. I'm your host, Simona Devta. Milena Sanchez was born and raised in London by her Colombian-born parents. She was submerged into the small Latin community. This led Milena Sanchez to begin performing from the age of 6, winning her first singing competition at 11 and performing at one of the first Latin carnivals in London in front of thousands of people. As a former member of the Receipts podcast, she authored a best-selling book with sold-out live shows at venues including the Palladium, the Roundhouse, and the O2 Indigo. Her love for music has never disappeared throughout this time, with almost 2 million YouTube views with a total of social following over 160,000. Milena Sanchez has decided it's ready to go back to her first love, music.
I love that.
Yeah.
When you said it like that, I'm like, oh my God, I've done bits. I've done some stuff. I should be really proud of myself.
You should be, exactly.
I'm going to play that intro every morning and just
morning
remember.
Affirmations.
Just remember who the fuck I am.
The journey. Yeah, you've done some things. So welcome to Do Not Disturb, the inside story.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to this wonderful hotel.
Beautiful.
Yeah, amazing.
I thought I was in the wrong place because I was like... What am I doing here? I need to leave.
No, you're in the right place.
Yes.
And I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you so much.
And tell us, who is Milena, like for people who don't know?
So I'm Milena Sanchez. I'm a singer-songwriter, podcaster, best-selling author, mother, also queer. I'm a badass bitch. Can I swear?
Yeah.
I'm a badass bitch. And I'm just somebody that is here to empower women. Yeah, especially mums.
Could you tell us a bit about your early life and your upbringing?
Yep. So I was born in London. My mum and my auntie and my uncle raised me. My dad wasn't about. And I come from a very loving household. Both parents of mine were in and out of my life, but my auntie and my uncle always made sure that I had that structure and that routine. I loved singing from the age of 4. So I was literally that crazy child that was running up and down the house, singing my heart out. And I remember my auntie giving me a video camera, a camcorder, because that was the only way that she could contain my madness, because I would literally be singing all day, every day. So she thought, you know what? Have one room, have one space in the house, record yourself. And you know what? I'm so grateful for that, because now as an adult, I look back at all of those videos and I'm like, it's nice to have those memories and to also show my daughter, not that she's into singing or anything, but...
How old is your daughter now?
She's going to be 10.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My son too.
Yeah. It's what I call the ghetto, having a 9-year-old daughter. This is when the puberty starts. And I'm just like, I thought all of this started at 13, but apparently not.
Starts earlier.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And especially with girls. And she calls me cringe. I'm like, I'm the coolest mum ever. But she doesn't think that. So I'm really excited for her to turn 13 now.
But tell me a bit more about so at 6, you started already performing. At 11, you're performing in front of thousands of people. How did that come about?
So my auntie sent me to a Latin Saturday school, and in that Saturday school, we would play Latin music, we would learn Latin songs, and there was this festival or this carnival called Carnaval del Pueblo in South London, and they were preparing for it. And before that actually came about, there was this competition, and the competition was called Niña Simpatía, which is like, I don't even know how you directly translate simpatía to English, but it's like happy girl, or like, it was a competition basically with just girls, right? And I remember I was like singing, and out of the 26 girls I won, so I was crowned Niña Simpatía, and the winner basically got to perform at El Carnaval del Pueblo, like solo. We were all performing together, but I had a solo bit. Latin music has been a huge part of my life from such a young age. And yeah, I was really, really excited. I loved and love being on stage. I feel like that is a place where I can become whoever it is that I want to become. And I feel so safe on stage as well. And I remember that from a very, very young age, I felt like that. And I wanted to share with everyone my talent. And my mum also, no matter where I was, she'd be like, Milena, sing. And even if I was in a restaurant, she would make me sing. And that's
sweet.
Yeah, I feel like I just got my confidence from there, where my mum was just like, even at home, she'd be like, okay, you've got 3 outfits for the next half an hour. You're going to put every single outfit on and you're going to perform for me. And I think I definitely got like my stage presence and love for being on the stage from my mum, because I remember her saying, like, when you're on stage, you never stay in one spot. You go up and you go down. And when I would perform, she'd be like, oh. So yeah.
And your mum, she was a performer too?
No.
Like, where did she get
my
this
mum
from?
loves singing, but she doesn't have, bless her, she'd probably say she has a great voice, but she actually doesn't. But the confidence is there.
Sorry, mum.
Yeah. The confidence and the vibe, the energy that we need to be an artist and to be a performer was and is there, because my mum is absolutely crazy and everybody loves her.
Amazing.
She's an interesting woman.
And that's impacting us.
Yeah,
for sure.
100%.
Our mums matter. And tell me, how did your career evolve? So you were singing as a child. Next thing we know, I mean, as your audience, is the podcast. So
yeah, I mean, before the podcast, I was in a band, a UK band, and it was with 2 other guys. And there was this TV channel, urban TV channel called Channel U. So basically, we were in a group. We had this one song that went completely crazy. We ended up doing like a little UK tour. We were meant to be like the next big thing, and then one of the guys decided to leave, which was heartbreaking. At like 19, I had left college. No, I was even 18, left college. I thought I had made it. I was like, right, this is me on my road to fame and riches. And then he left at a point where we were not even at our peak, but we had just got our foot in the door and we were going somewhere. So to have that like kind of like ripped from us was so sad. So then I decided to be like a solo artist. I decided to kind of like focus and develop my craft and being an artist. And I was like halfway through my album. I spent a couple of years actually focusing on writing and creating music. And then at 22, I fell pregnant. So at that point, I had been with my partner for like 6 years because we were like teenage loves. So for me, I was in the most difficult situation ever because it was like, do I choose my career or do I choose motherhood, you know? And it's just one of those things that as women we are faced with, and we are constantly told you can't have both. So you either...
It's a dark place to be in when you find out that you're pregnant and you're like, what do I do? Yeah.
And I feel like at 22 as well, I was, now looking back, even though I wasn't a teenager, I was young.
It's very young.
You know, yeah. I was young. I was still living at home with my mum. And yeah, it was such a life-changing decision. But I had to go ahead. And I'm such a firm believer in God and God's plan. And you know what, if I was placed in this situation, like, I'm gonna be okay. Like, I'm a strong ass bitch. I'm good. So then I ended up having the baby. And I feel like from there, I kind of lost my passion for music because I didn't want to end up just being a baby mums in the music industry. Like the girl that almost made it, but then she had a baby. So, you know, so I had no confidence in myself, which was really, really sad and a difficult place to be in as well, because music has been such a huge part of my life for so long. So I ended up doing like Facebook lives on like dating and men and relationships and everything. And I would have like loads of people like watch me. And it was just my thing to do. It was my space to be silly. I could talk any way that I wanted to talk, and people just knew that it was me. Like I didn't have to pretend or anything. And at that point, like podcasting was just becoming a thing. It wasn't a thing, but it was just starting
emerging. Definitely.
Yeah. And there was a all male podcast, and you know, it was just guys being open and honest and just talking reckless. And I was like, you know what,
we can do that.
I love talking reckless. So one of the guys from the podcast was like, hey, I've got a friend, she wants to start a podcast, I thought you'd be perfect for it, like, are you interested? I was like, absolutely, let's do it. I love talking, so why not meet these girls that I've never met before, and like, let's just exchange stories. So we met up and it was amazing. It was such a great vibe. And from there, it just went crazy. Like I had no expectations for it, but I can honestly say that podcast completely changed my life. And yeah.
In what way?
In what way? I mean, it placed me in a position that I never thought I'd be in. So I really understood that even though you might have a plan, sometimes that plan doesn't go to plan, and God will be putting you in different paths and you just embrace it. And yeah, because when I was younger, I never thought, you know what, I want to be a podcaster and it's going to change my life, because it wasn't a thing. So in my mind, it had always been music. So the fact that this podcast had come along and, you know, we've got billboards, we're doing shows, we're selling out the Palladium, the Roundhouse, and I'm a best-selling author. It's insane, because it wasn't a thing for me. I didn't think...
Did it bring money to you as well?
Yeah, it completely changed my life, you know, and I'll always be so grateful for all of the opportunities that came from being in that podcast. And, you know, I learned so much from it, to now doing my own podcast and having all of that knowledge and the information that I need to be my own host on my own show.
And what was the book about?
So the book was called Keep the Receipts, and it was just about my experiences in different things in my life. So like love, friendships, relationships, motherhood, career. So I would say it wasn't like a biography, but it was just our own take on those things. But it was amazing. I got to have a little section where I interviewed my auntie, who was such a huge inspiration in my life. And I also had a little section where I gave advice to mothers, because I was the only mum in the group at that point. So, you know, like I said, I'm very big on empowering women, and especially mothers and younger girls. So having that kind of section was
what
so
was
nice.
The advice?
You know what? It was just different moments of me being a mother that I feel like I could have done with that advice. So like, you know, the moment you find out that you're pregnant, the changes in your body, feeling like you can't have a career now that you've got this child, you know, that mum guilt. There are just so many things that I feel like we go through as women and as mums, that it doesn't start when the baby gets here. It starts the moment you find out that you're pregnant, and you really don't think about certain things until you're in that position. And I kind of feel like if I were to ever get pregnant now, I would be a little bit more mentally prepared, you know, because even having like a birthing plan, like I wouldn't have a birthing plan, because those things just go out the window. So, and you just never know what kind of labor you're going to have.
You have to have a birthing plan, but you have to be prepared to like let it all go.
The birthing plan is to be open-minded.
Yeah.
That's the only birthing plan, because listen, your body is going to do what it needs to do, and that child, however it needs to get into the world, is going to enter. So the best advice I can give anybody who's pregnant or planning on being pregnant, just be open-minded, because It is hard. It is difficult.
My grandma told me it's gonna come out the same way it came in, you know?
Oh,
I mean,
that part.
just
I mean, sometimes.
yeah.
But yeah, it's not as pleasurable.
No,
It's not as easy.
I guess. So tips for moms. This is the golden story for us. That's what we want to know. So how do you deal with guilt? You said you have to write that.
Yeah, I feel like there have been so many different times in my motherhood over the last 10 years that I have felt guilt, whether that's been working too much or like going on a holiday and not bringing her along, or just like having a night out, or even down to the minor things of being like, I don't want to play right now. You know, like when your kid is just like, can we play? Can we play? Can we play? And you've had a long ass day. You're in mental overload. You're feeling overstimulated, overwhelmed with everything. You're cooking dinner. You've got a pile of washing that you've not even done yet. And now you're figuring out tomorrow. I don't have time to sit down and play.
You need mental space for that.
I need a second. Let me go toilet on my own. Just sit down for 1 minute. Read a book. Don't tell me you're bored because you have loads of toys upstairs. But I think moments like that, sometimes I have felt really, really guilty. And then I've had to remind myself where I'm like, Milena, you are your own person as well. Like, obviously you're responsible for this child, and don't be a Grinch. You can't just be like, no, I'm not playing every single day. No. But also don't feel guilty if you're not feeling like playing. Because more time when it is that we're going through something, we always put a mask on for our kids. How many times have I been heartbroken and I've been around my child and my child would know no different? How many times have I had an argument with a partner, or something's not going right at work, and now I have to pretend and not project that onto my child? So when you do have these little moments where you don't want to play, you can have that, you know? And I just feel like a lot of us are so riddled with mum guilt, and we forget that before a mum, we are also a woman. We're also ourselves. And also we're doing this for the first time. I don't have the answers.
I don't think anyone does.
No,
yeah.
There's no manual on how to be a perfect mum, you know, and I feel like there's a lot of judgment on mums as well, whether that's from other men or women as well. Like, other mums love to mum shame, and women who don't have kids.
Oh yeah, but they just don't know. Until they have, you just ignore
You know,
them.
sometimes, yeah, I'm like, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to argue with you. You wait until you have your dusty child and you are tired as hell. You wait, because it's going to happen, and it does happen. And I don't want to wish bad on anyone, but sometimes shut your mouth. Just be quiet. Stop judging everyone. Just have your opinions if you want, and just tell your friends instead. But you don't have to be out here on social media like trolling people.
Do you think there is more judgment to mothers in Latin community?
I don't know. But what I will say is that there's definitely, I don't know other cultures, but I definitely have felt like pressures from my family. You know, being Colombian, I feel like they think they know best, and they don't understand that you were raised in Colombia. I'm in England. Yeah, I've got a different setup to you, and like, I'm so grateful that you did what you had to do, and you know, you was raised the way that you were raised, but let me just do what I'm doing. So I remember, you know, the moment I had my daughter, it was like, okay, so how are you going to lose the weight? I literally just pushed this child out of my vagina. I'm trying to figure out how to get my vagina back. I don't care about my belly right now. Honestly, let me be fat. Let me be fat for 1 second. Because at the moment, my child needs another feed, and I don't know what's happening. I just wet myself. I don't know. Okay. But, you know, they're very much so like, are you going to like wrap yourself with cling foil? Are you going to wear an faja, which is basically like a waist trainer? You know, you have to drink soup for 30 days. And it's just like, what are you talking about? I'm not even remotely focused on that right now. You know, I've literally just had a kid, and I'm trying to figure out how to be a mum, because I'm responsible of a whole human being, which was, the moment I left the hospital, I was like, so now I'm left in the world with this kid.
It's such a strange feeling.
What am I doing here?
Yeah.
I loved being in the hospital. I loved it.
The pregnancy doesn't really lead your mind to understand that you will be leaving it with a kid. It's a strange thing when that first day you're like, what is it? Like, is this my life? Is this mine? Do I get to take it home? Like, what's happening here? Yeah.
I was living with my mum, and my mum was such an amazing help. Like, she would always come in and take Catalea in the morning and let me have my sleep. And I'm so grateful for my mum when it came to having a newborn in the house.
And your partner was around, or
yeah, he lived with us as well. He was great too. But I just feel like men don't really get it. And also I feel like men sometimes feel a little bit shut out from the get-go when we end up being pregnant and we feel like all of the early butterflies and the movement and stuff. I feel like men can feel a little bit excluded from that. So, and as well, because there's so much attention placed on the mum after giving birth for obvious reasons. I feel like men can only do so much, especially if you're a breastfeeding mother. But he done what he could do. He was great. Yeah.
And how did having a child impact your relationship?
I mean, it was all downhill from there. It was what? It was done from the moment, honey. Do you know what? Before having a baby, we weren't great. And that's me being 100%. I feel like when you have issues that you're trying to disguise within a relationship, have a kid and it will come to the forefront of everything. And those arguments that you was having before the kid, they're going to intensify and they'll be over the same thing.
In my community, they say, like, if you want to keep a man, have a child. And I'm like, what? Like, that's not gonna enhance any relationship. Let me tell you something.
Have a child with a man to keep him and you are punishing yourself.
Definitely not.
Because they can get up and leave. So let's not ever think that by having a child with a man that you're going to keep that relationship, because when that man has a child with you, the only responsibility and commitment he has is to that kid, not to you.
100%.
So yeah, that's not it. A little part of me did think that I was going to keep him with this kid, but that was not the case. And I'm so happy that that was the case, because we just weren't meant to be. And he's great with her, and that's it. That's all I could ask for.
And how do you split your responsibilities now?
Monday to Friday, she's with me. And Friday he picks her up from school, has her every weekend, and drops her to school on Monday morning, and I pick her up Monday evening.
That's a good balance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone happy.
Everyone happy. Yay! No, this is a new thing that's been in place for the last, I would say, 3 months. Before that, it was like every 2-3 days. But I feel like we had to do what was right for Catalea being 9 years old now, and she's in a different space mentally, and we had to give her that extra routine and extra structure.
It's a fluid.
So it's a changing thing. And listen, we always keep Catalea at the forefront of everything. So as long as she's happy, even if she turned around and she was like, oh, you know, I don't want to go to my dad's house this week, or, you know, I want to spend an extra day with my dad. Like, it's a conversation that we can have, because she is at an age now where not necessarily she can choose what she wants to do, but I can take her feelings and thoughts into consideration.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And how is it dating, being a mom, having a career? Having many things happening for you?
I think it is so hard. Like, I don't know where I was, but a couple of weeks ago, I was out and I was thinking, I didn't have my daughter, but because it was the weekend, but I was like, oh my God, Catalea. And I was like, oh wait, no, it's the weekend. I don't have her. It's her dad. And I was like, oh my God, there are people in this world that don't have kids and have no responsibility. Like, there's nothing to get back to. Like, what is that feeling? Like, I actually don't remember what it was like to just have that freedom to just, you know what, if I want to stay at my friend's house today, tomorrow, until next week, I can do that because there's nothing waiting for me at home. I'm like, oh my God, people are living a different life to me, because subconsciously I'm like, oh my God, what's for dinner? And I'm like, oh, I'm not even feeding her today. But dating was a very, very interesting thing to navigate, especially in the early years. I think me and her dad kind of broke up officially, I think a year into our parenthood. She was about 1 year old. And yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Because I mean, you have all the physical changes as well as the mental changes. So if you're dating people that don't have kids, it's like, will you ever fully understand my role in my life? Because you're not number one. And I feel like you get people who are okay with that and people who aren't, and that's okay because that's their choice. And yeah, you can't take it too personally.
I'm also split up with the father of my child. And I remember doing my nails and the manicure lady telling me, you know what, you're going to find a really good man now. And I was like, why? And she was like, if someone will accept you and your son, you know, in the level that you want them to accept you, they will be really good people. And I think for me, at least in my dating life, my son was like a very good filter for men, you know, in terms of who are worthy to come into our life, because, you know, not everyone is prepared to take that on. It's a big responsibility.
No, 100%. And I was actually having this conversation with my partner not too long ago, and I posted about it on my social media. And it's like, I want to shout out step parents because they are literally, can we understand what their role is? They come into a relationship with you. They love you wholeheartedly, and they also love this child that isn't theirs as their own. And it's like, oh God, what boundaries do I have here? What can I say? What can't I say? Like, you know, date nights are going to be limited, and what does my life look like? And there are just so many things that a step parent is faced with, even down to, will the child like me? And if the child doesn't like me, now what? Where do we go from here? So yeah, I feel like step parents are phenomenal, are amazing. And like you said, having a child is a great filter, because if you're not with me to date long term and to, you know, accept me as a package, then I don't.
You just can't do it. Yeah.
I will. Unless I'm out here trying to have a little fun. If I'm trying to have a little fun, then I'm not even trying to put my child on you.
No, then you'll never know, probably.
Yeah,
I have
exactly.
a child. Yeah.
Exactly. So
That's nice. And how did you meet your partner?
So me and my partner met 3 years ago, and she was working with a friend of mine, and yeah, so we had loads of mutuals, and I saw her online and I was like, this woman is beautiful. And I started following her, and then I think a couple of months after we started following each other, we met at a concert because that mutual friend was there. And it's just so cliche because it was love at first sight. It was that kind of, okay, maybe not love. It was like some form of attraction at first sight. Whether, I don't know, it wasn't only physical, because it was, chemistry aside, it was this kind of like feeling that I had known her before. It was this familiarity that we had had. And I instantly felt safe with her. And after that concert, we didn't want the night to end. So we were like, should we go out? And we went out until like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. And you would have thought that we had been together for years. Like, it was so beautiful.
I know the feeling. It's
so
great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. And yeah, 3 years ago now, damn. And we just got engaged.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I also got engaged. So here you go.
Congratulations.
And tell me, I mean, it's okay. I don't know how to ask that in the best way. How was it for your family? Obviously, you dated a man before, and now you're dating a woman.
Yeah. I think I've never been somebody to hide the fact that I'm bisexual. Obviously, my family didn't know because I had never dated a woman seriously. So I didn't need to come and tell my family about my sexuality until I met her. And then there was just something in me that I was like, I need to tell the world because I want to marry you right now. So I need to be honest with everyone. And also, like, I'm not going to be here living a lie anymore. Like, I don't care. Obviously, it was really scary because I come from a very Catholic Colombian household and I didn't know how that was going to be received. But I prepared myself for it to not go well. So I really worked myself up. With my mum, she kind of guessed it because my partner was always at the house and I was living with my mum. So she was just like, is this your what's happening here? So I just kind of told her the truth, and it was fine. It wasn't a thing. And I felt like because my family had met my partner, they saw how amazing she was, that they just had this...
Hopefully that's the best thing for every family member. Yeah.
So they just knew that she was such an amazing woman that they were very, very accepting. My auntie was very much so like not okay with it. But she loves me and she's done her absolute best to accept it. And she's been amazing, like really, really amazing. Like I was scared to tell her that we were going to get engaged. I was scared to tell her, you know, we've got an engagement party. Do you want to come? But she's been so great that I'm like, I feel very blessed and lucky to have my family.
And how has it been for your daughter?
My daughter, it has been a very interesting journey. I think when we told her she was about 7 years old, and I wanted to be honest with her because I didn't want to hide it, because by hiding it, you make it a wrong thing. And me loving whoever it is that I want to love is not wrong. And even if I wasn't in a same-sex relationship, I'd always teach my child to be accepting of like different people in the world. So if she went to school and she had a conversation with another kid where their family dynamics was different to hers, like that would be the main thing. Respect everybody, because everybody's household is different. So I think for me, it was more so about teaching her that the world is very versatile and you can love whoever it is that you want to love. Did she take it how I wanted her to take it? No, she's a kid. We were probably the first same-sex couple she's seen. So for her, all she's ever known was mum and dad, mum and dad, mum and dad. And also I think what didn't help was that me and her dad and her were still going on holiday together. Because in my mind, I thought, you know, like this is going to be an amazing memory for her, like having both of her parents together and going to, you know, see the world and stuff. But what actually happened was, as a kid, you're always going to have that hope that your mum and dad get back together. And if they don't, whoever it is in that firing line, it's their fault. Like by default, it's their fault. So even though that wasn't the case, because me and her dad were never going to be together, regardless of who it was. That
was not a romantic holiday.
Yeah. In her mind, she saw it as, well, this person's just coming into mum's life and
took her away.
Is taking her away. So, I think now in hindsight, looking back, there's probably going to be many things that my daughter is going to come to me about and tell me about that situation that I'm probably going to have to apologize or explain. And I'm fine with that. Because
you're doing your best.
I'm just a girl. I'm just trying. I don't have the answers. I don't know. I've never done this before. And I never had anybody else around me who was in a same-sex relationship and had a child. So I didn't know what to do. I just knew that I couldn't hide it from her, because by hiding it, it was just me showing her that it was something to be ashamed about. And I'm not ashamed about my sexuality.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
If you're in love, you're happy, that fuels you, you know, you got engaged. It's a huge thing. So
100%.
Definitely nothing to be ashamed of. I think people should love people, you know, and it doesn't really matter, you know.
And also like
your
mind
gender,
your business.
anything. Yeah.
Like what's it got to do with you, who I sleep with? Like, or who I share my life with is... If it's not you, fine. And this is what I always say, I'm not here to convince anybody of my lifestyle. I'm really, really not. If you don't like it, then that's something that you have to deal with. And that's something that you have to work on, because I don't know, it's given projection, or it's given maybe you're unhappy in your life. But I never understand people who are so obsessed with the choices of other people when it doesn't affect them. It's so bizarre. Oh, because now the world and now kids and well, guess what? If you do not have these conversations with your kids, you're going to set them up for failure, because whether you like it or not, there are queer people in the world and there are different types of people in the world, the same way there's different races. So what are we doing here? you know?
Yeah.
I'm just like...
We have the same about diets nowadays.
Yeah.
So, yeah. People have a lot of opinions.
Oh, my God. And everybody thinks that they know it all. Like, everybody thinks that they're God's PA, that he sent them directly to have a conversation with me. No. My God is my God, and I have my relationship with my God. You can't come and tell me different.
Something I'm very curious about, and I ask every woman on this podcast, is self-care. What does that look like for you?
Self-care looks like, for me, watching porn. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Self-care for me, honestly, is just taking a moment to myself. I really love music. So I do love singing and songwriting in times where I feel like I just need to have a moment to myself. And you know what? Having a bath. I feel like every single day I shower. And I forget that I have a bath. Like, take a second to just put the bubbles, like, let's romanticize it a little bit. Put candles on. Do you know how much I meditate in my bath? Like, I love meditating in my bath. And sometimes even just going out to eat by myself, I do that quite often, actually.
What is often?
I say I would eat out on my own, like, twice a week, you know?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
nice.
I'll just go out and I will just go to a restaurant and eat. And more time, I've actually had more conversations with strangers like that, because there's somebody else eating alone, and I'm like, I look at them and I make up this whole scenario in my head about their life, and then I just ask them, like, hey, like, what are you doing here? And then the conversation just flows from there, and I absolutely love doing that. Sometimes people think I'm weird.
That's lovely. I do that on the airplane, where I'm quite a
Oh,
lot. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm the queen of that. Oh, let me be sitting next to somebody that I don't know. I'm going to chew their ears off.
And how do you find time to spend time alone with your partner?
Well, we have the weekends free.
Oh, now
every
you
single
do.
weekend.
Wow, my God.
Yeah.
What is this?
What kind of life am I living?
Yeah.
I'm a mum Monday to Friday, and then Friday I get to clock out and be whoever I want to be. So yeah, date nights are pretty easy. Either a Friday or a Saturday, or a cute little date day, or a little breakfast, or yeah, just spending that time with my partner on the weekend makes a load of difference.
Huge difference.
Yeah, because I mean, throughout the week, she's working all day and I'm doing my stuff all day. Then I have to get home and do school runs and dinner, and we're not left with a lot of time in the evenings. So yeah, the weekend.
And energy, I guess.
Yeah, and energy. Oh my God. This child will ask me, can we go to the park? I'm like, ma'am, it is raining. It's a blizzard out there, and you want me to go to the park? Absolutely not. You've lost your mind. Like, kids don't have the concept of life. Like, they don't get it, which is fine. It's what it is.
It can be joyful too.
Yeah. Oh, because their innocence is so endearing at times. And it's just like, no, baby, I can't win the lottery right now.
It's not happening.
Not happening.
But so you both work, your partner and probably the father of your child as well. Mm-hmm. How do you manage household expenses, money?
Household expensive and money. I just...
Is it a one pot? Is it
no,
independent?
Two pots.
Two pots.
Two pots. All the pots. Everyone's pots. Yeah, everything gets paid for. We're in a great position, thank God. And yeah, I don't know what else.
I mean, like, not all women are able, to support themselves. So a lot of questions we got before launching this podcast is, how do women actually get to the position of financial independence? How do you plan your expenses? How do you provide for childcare, maybe a nanny? I don't know. You said your mom helped you in the beginning, but it's nice to understand how you plan your finances.
Yeah, I mean, it is very, very difficult, especially like the times that we're in right now. And yeah, I can only talk about myself. And like, fortunately for me, I do have a village that I can rely on. Like, I do have my mom, I do have my sisters. Her dad is great as well. Obviously, my partner is amazing. Yeah, I feel like no matter what position you're in, you have to be smart financially. When I first had her, I didn't have money at all, and I was working my ass off. And it was really, really difficult, because it was like, you almost feel like a failure, because it's like, I have this child, I have this home, and I can't buy her everything she's asking me for. I can't take her to all of these places. But I had to make that decision of leaving the house that I was in and moving back in with my mum. And sometimes I feel like we think that that is a step back, but it's not, because you have to do what you have to do. And I could have stayed in the house that I was in and paying the rent that I was paying and working my ass off to not be happy, or I could put my ego aside and be like, do you know what? Like, let me be grateful at the fact that I do have my mum that I can go back to and I can figure it out. I think many of us who have the privilege of having other people there, we don't do enough with asking, because we feel like if we ask, then we're going to be judged, or we're going to be deemed as a bad mom. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like the only advice I can give to any woman who's in a position where they do have the help there, but they're not asking for it, don't think that you're a burden. You're not a burden. You're not a failure. You can ask for help, and yeah, you'll be surprised at how many people will actually extend their hand to help you.
That's a great advice.
Yeah.
What would be an advice to your younger self?
All the love that you're putting into other people, put it in yourself. Yeah. Don't.
First.
Yeah. First and foremost, because the moment you start loving yourself is the moment you start realizing that certain situations aren't for you and you can remove yourself.
What message would you like to send to other women?
That never forget how amazing we are and how much we've been through already, and yeah, just how great we can actually be. Like, there's nothing that we can't do. So always have that confidence. And especially like mums, don't ever think that you're less than because you have a child and it hasn't worked out with their dad. Like, don't ever think that you'll never be loved, or don't ever think that you have to stay with somebody because you've had a child with them. You know, your happiness comes before anything.
100%.
Yeah.
Amen. And our last question is, do you think you have figured it out?
No, not even a little bit. Okay, maybe a little bit, maybe 5%. But what the hell is this life? No, I've not figured it out. I'm very happy. Has anyone figured it out? No.
One person.
God? Who's figured it out?
One person on our podcast has.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I'd like to meet them, please. Because maybe they can write a book on how to figure it the fuck out. I'm going to write a book called How to Figure It the Fuck Out. Because, yeah, no, I haven't. And you know what? I'm so okay with that. And where I think people are like, happiness is this destination and like, you know, we have to be happy. It's not realistic. You know, this whole thing called life is a journey. This healing is a journey. And you're always going to be faced with different things. If I had it all figured out, it'd be like, where else do we go from here? Yeah, no.
It's a journey. It's ups, it's downs.
Yes,
all of it
every
together.
single day. Like, have I figured out today? Have I figured out today? Let alone have I figured out the rest of my life? No. But this is why, like your birthing plan, have an open mind.
Definitely.
For sure.
Hopefully our listeners know what we mean.
Yeah.